So what I thought I would do is just tell you a few things that I believe in, and then hopefully you'll either agree with me passionately or disagree with me passionately, but either way, it'll get you to come talk to me afterwards. So one of the things that I believe is that if you live in downtown St. Paul, you should not have to drive to Dakota County to buy a package of printer paper or a pair of socks. I moved to St. Paul. I decided to raise my family here because I love the fact that I can walk to locally owned businesses that pay a living wage right around me. And those businesses are closing, and that means that people are not walking to things, and are not taking advantage of the community that that builds, and that means that we're losing something great in the city, and I want to change that. Second thing I believe is that having a car and driving it in any major American city in the 21st century should be optional. You guys live downtown. We know this, right? We need to have a robust transit network. It was exactly right what Clinton said. The Green Line is the beginning. We need to have buses that actually are a competitive alternative to driving, so you're not driving by a bus shelter, which isn't a shelter, and thinking, thank God I'm not freezing out there in the cold with those people, right? Because that's never going to make transit a competitive alternative. And we need a bike path that makes people like me who like to bike but are terrified of doing it downtown actually get out there with our burleys and our babies and get biking, right? The third thing I believe is that taking care of our kids is not just a problem for the schools. It is something that this entire city is responsible for. As a public school teacher myself, I know when I taught, I had 7 hours a day with my kids. The rest of their waking hours, they were in a school called the city. So whether or not we have excellent parks and rec centers and libraries and jobs for every single teen who wants one over the summer, because that's how you're going to get kids off the street and that's how you're going to get people ready for work in the future, that's up to us as a city. So that's something else I believe. I promise there's only 3 more things I believe. It sounded a lot shorter when I was in the car driving over here, sorry. Is that little things matter. So whether or not we have potholes on the way to work, whether or not we have snow removed from our bus stops so we can actually get to them, whether or not you get a response when you call somebody at City Hall. Those things may not be sexy, but they add up to whether or not people like living in the city and whether or not more people want to move here. So those things are something that I'm going to prioritize as a city council member. And the last thing I believe is that the city needs to work for everyone in it, and right now, it doesn't. We have a 24% poverty rate in the city, which we often don't talk about. We have 25,000 kids who live below the poverty line, and we have some of the biggest gaps between white people and people of color anywhere in the country, and I'm ashamed of it. And that is something that every single decision that the city council makes, whether it's housing, transit, economic development, where we hold our public meetings, how we let people know about them, all of those things add up to whether or not we're moving forward as a city towards racial equity and social justice, or whether we stay mired in the status quo that we're in now, which nobody wants to be in.